I'm 25 and I feel like I'm always the one who gets left. I just got out of a situationship that lasted almost 2 years. He never committed, but he always came back. I told myself I could handle it, that maybe if I loved him enough, he'd finally choose me, but he didn't. He just posted his real girlfriend on Instagram. I feel humiliated. I gave him my body, my time, my softness. I showed up for him when I had nothing left for myself, and now I feel used, invisible, and stupid. This keeps happening to me. I love hard. I try to be understanding, but it's like men don't see me as someone worth choosing. It's killing my confidence. I'm starting to believe maybe I'm just not enough. How do I heal from this when it feels like every piece of me was wrapped up in proving I was worthy of love? So, first, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your story. Hopefully, I can help you break down what you're going through so that you can understand how to get out of this cycle. First, I want to explain to you how it happens on more so of a brain type level because there is something that your brain is doing that is causing you to keep going back. And then I also want to break it down to you on an emotional level and hopefully help you get out of the cycle. Now, the first thing to me it seems like you're dealing with is that your brain is probably trained to link love with proving. So this often happens to individuals who feel like they have to earn love growing up. You only receive love essentially when you got achievements, when you were very high functioning, or when you literally were being perfect at something. And so this looks like as a child, maybe the only time you went out to eat was when you graduated or there was some kind of celebration. Maybe your parents only told you that they were proud of you when you got an A because when you had that D, they talked all that junk about you. They said how you need to bring up your grades. But then when you switched it to a B, a D to a B, they didn't say anything. Why did they say anything? Because you didn't get that A. But you worked hard, didn't you? You brought your grade up, you studied, you did all these things. And so there's this idea in your mind that you have to be perfect. Not only do you have to work hard to earn love, but you have to be perfect. You have to be high performing, you have to be high functioning, and you have to literally achieve love. There wasn't a thing of people telling you growing up that they were proud of you, that they loved you simply because you were there. There was this thing of always feeling like I was told I was loved when I did this. I was told that, I was cared about, or I was shown that I was cared about first when I earned it. I had to do something in order to receive love. And so you become an adult that gets this mindset of I have to literally earn love. It's not something that I receive simply just by being alive. And the problem with this is this wires your brain to start feeling like if I do more, if I become more, then they'll finally love me. And so you get into relationships feeling like you are at zero and you feel like you have to work your way up all the way to 100. So I have to do more. I have to be prettier. I have to show up more for this person and then they will finally love me because you don't feel like you can show up in a relationship being yourself and they'll love you. There's this thing that you have to do out ordinary things. You have to literally do achievements. You have to do perfection. You have to be high functioning because that's when you will be able to deserve the love that this person is supposed to be given to you. Now that I've explained it on more of an emotional level, I want to also explain it on a mental level to get you to understand you've actually conditioned and trained your brain over time to learn what it has to do to receive love, essentially how it has to earn love. And I want to explain to you what that actually looks like in your brain as well. So, first, you have an area inside of your brain called your limbic system. And this is one of the areas inside of your brain that experiences emotion. So, this is good, bad, happy, or sad. Over time, your brain starts paying attention to what happens to make it experience certain emotions. So, over time, your brain starts to realize the only time this piece of our limbic system is activated with love, which is something that we all want, is when we do something because it starts to notice when I'm just going to school, when I'm just being a student, when I'm just being a child, I don't, that part of my brain doesn't turn on. But when I graduate and my parents take me out to eat for my graduation, it gets turned on. When I get really good grades and my mom says she's proud of me, that's when that piece gets turned on. So over time, it starts to get conditioned. And over time, it starts to understand the only way we can activate that part of our brain and get that warm, fuzzy feeling is when we do something. So essentially, it gets trained to feel like love is earned through performance and not through presence. And let me give you an analogy so hopefully it makes sense. So I want you to think of the limbic system as essentially a piece of candy, right? The love that we want as a piece of candy because we all love candy, we all want candy. And so you want candy. Over time, you start to see If I just stand here and I just live life and I go to work and I go to school and I do all these things, I don't get candy because growing up, that's not how you got love. You start to see when I jump, that's when I get the candy. I.e., when I achieve, that's when I get the love. So over time, your brain has been trained to understand I don't deserve love by simply being me, by simply having a presence. I only deserve love. I only get love when I jump. I have to jump because that's the only time we get it, right? The problem that this becomes is when you are in a relationship, when someone is disrespecting you, when someone is neglecting you, instead of your brain telling you this isn't love because it isn't, your brain instead says we need to work harder. Your brain instead says you're not enough. Your brain instead says we need to go back and prove to them why they need to love us. Why? Because over time, you've never gotten love by simply being yourself. You've only gotten love when you jumped, right? And so your brain says, we're not jumping hard enough. Okay, the premise is off the bat, you got to jump. You don't deserve love unless you jump. Your entire life, you never received love unless you jump. This person, you're jumping for them and they still not giving you love. So instead of your brain telling you we need to stop jumping, that's like the craziest thing in the world. We need to stop performing. No, your brain instead says we need to jump harder. We need to go into overload. We need to perform. We need to show more love. We need to show more care. We need to show them why they want to be with us and they don't need to be with nobody else. And so over time, I want you to understand this is not just this thing of emotional. This also becomes a neurological thing. Your brain literally only gets activated with love from performance. And so you think your presence isn't enough. The only time you are rewarded, which is the area in your brain called your dopaminergic pathways. I've explained in other videos dopamine before, which is essentially the reward chemical. That part of your brain is conditioned to only receive love when it jumps. So why would you think that you deserve love simply by being yourself? Why would you think you deserve love when you haven't given 110% every single time if your entire life you've always had to do that? Now, there was another piece in there where you did say something to the effect of like, he keeps coming back. And I've heard many women say this before. There's a lot of women that say things like, oh, he know where home is, will he always come back? Or even some women I've heard before say, well, he just won't leave me. He just won't leave. But I want you to understand that is emotional manipulation through presence. And also really want you to be honest with yourself. Why would he leave you? Like, why would he leave you if he gets sex with no commitment? Let's just be completely honest. You give your body to him and he does not have to be committed to you. You guys are not in an official relationship. You said you were in a situationship for 2 years. So it's like, I get to have your body and I don't even have to say that I'm fully committed to you. I don't even have to only be with you. Why would he leave that? He gets emotional access without responsibility. You open up to him. There was a piece in there where you said something, you being soft with him, or providing him with softness. You are opening up to him emotionally, and he does not have to be responsible for those emotions. Because what usually happens in relationships is you start to open up to people as time goes on. And there is a level of responsibility that you give those people, that they're going to care for your emotions, that they're going to protect your emotions, that they're not going to use your emotions to manipulate you or stomp all over them. And if you tell them you don't like something or something is affecting you emotionally, you are hoping that they will not essentially do that thing or they will not trigger that thing. And what are you really saying to them? You're giving them responsibility. Hey, I'm giving you this. Since you have this, don't do this, that with it. Don't mess it up. Don't keep it safe. But what are you giving him? He's not committed to you. So you're really giving him emotional side of you without having to give him any responsibility. Why would he leave that? That feels great. He gets the soft side of you. He gets the feminine side. He gets all that stuff. Why would he leave that? And he also gets the nurturing and support without having to provide the masculine weight of protection and or provisions. I want you to understand as women, a lot of us, many women are natural nurturers. There's just this thing of us caring about people. There was something else that you mentioned in there saying that you gave to him when you barely had anything to give. There is this nurturing, caring thing about us. But if you are not with the right person, especially if you think about more of a traditional relationship, there is this weight that the man has to carry of being sometimes the man that you want in a relationship. And I think a lot of women don't notice that when you are not with someone that genuinely cares about you, when you're with someone that can come and go as they want and they always know where home is, they do not have to carry the weight of being your man. So this looks like you're tire popping, and instead of you calling that man that you be sleeping with, you want to call your friend. This looks like you needing $20 to pay for something, and instead of you calling that man that you're always with, you call your mom. Right? Because he doesn't have to provide that sense of masculine weight. He doesn't make you feel protected. He doesn't make you feel respected. And you know that. But another reason why you don't speak on that is because a lot of times it's not really an official thing, right? Because he comes and goes. And so you look at it as this sense of, well, he always comes back. Well, he knows where home is. Well, he just won't leave me. And it's like he doesn't leave you because he doesn't have to. It's you that have the responsibility in your hand. It's you that are allowing him to come back into your place in your space. And so I want you to understand this is him literally manipulating you with his presence. He's able to get all of these things, and I'm sure he's able to get a lot more, and he doesn't have to commit to you. He can come back whenever he wants to. He can do, like, honestly, that sounds like a paradise. And a lot of times you look at that as being some kind of a relationship. Now, I know some women are going to be like, but it's not all bad. Like, it's not all bad. It's not always horrible. Like, there are moments that are great. But I want you to understand that's actually trauma bonding, because what happens is when emotional pain is mixed with temporary moments of relief, your nervous system mixes that up and confuses it for attachment and or intimacy. And so what does this look like? This looks like you complaining to him about to your friends. Oh my gosh, he does this, he does this, he does that, right? He does all of these things. But then when something happens and your friends are like, why would he do that to you? Da, 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 da. You are like, no, 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 but you guys don't get it. You guys don't get it because when it's just me and him, we're having great conversations. No, 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 you guys just don't get it because when I talk to him, he's so nice. And then this morning he made me breakfast and all these other things. And so your nervous system literally cannot understand what's going on because there's this, he treated me bad, 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 bad. He treated me great. He treated me bad, 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 bad. He treated me great. And so your nervous system confuses that because it's such intense emotions for attachment and or intimacy. So you genuinely develop this strong love, this strong attachment to this person, but it's literally a trauma bond. And I don't think you understand that you are becoming bonded to the person that is hurting you because they are also the person that is soothing the pain. I want you really to think about that. This individual is hurting you. This individual is making you sometimes numb in so many areas, lowering your confidence in so many areas. But this is also the same person on the flip side that can make you feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. This is also the person on the flip side that can make you feel the most confident individual in the world. And so there's two sides to every coin. But the problem is, most times it's on the side of feeling down. It's on the side of pain. It's on the side of hurt. And so your nervous system is literally yearning and waiting for it to be flipped to the other side because that's the moment of relief you get. And so that person that is hurting you also becomes the person that is your knight in shiny armor, the person that is saving you sometimes emotionally. And for many people, you crave this because it mirrors childhood patterns of inconsistent love, of unstable attention, of neglect. So this is what you've experienced. This is what you've been conditioned to as a child. Since you were a child, there wasn't this sense of stability as far as love, as far as care, as far as attention. Whenever you could get it, you would. Whenever someone showed love to you, that's all you want to do is just be consumed in it. And so as time goes on, you start to get these trauma bonds. You start to literally become bonded to the idea that someone can make you feel great, even if that person is the same person that makes you feel horrible. And so I want you to understand you are not in love. You are just neurologically bonded to the cycle of abandonment and return. Abandonment and return. That's all you've known your entire life. Abandonment and return. Abandonment and return. Pain and loving. Pain and loving. And so that's exactly what you are experiencing in this relationship, a mirroring of the love that you received since you were a child. Now, I want to speak to you about how you are going to hopefully get out of these cycles with these kinds of men. So, first, you need to understand the difference between self worth and self confidence. Self worth is something that's intrinsic, it's something that's essentially you feel like I deserve to be in these rooms, I deserve to be in these places, in these spaces. And in a relationship, self worth looks like I'm not going to let you treat me like this. I don't care where I live. I don't care what situation I'm going through. I don't care how I look. You are not going to treat me this way because I'm worthy to be treated a certain way. And self-worth sometimes in relationships to me looks like standards. There's just this thing of like, I'm worthy enough for certain kinds of treatment. And if you talk to me a certain way, you deal with me a certain way, I'm leaving simply because I'm worthy enough to know I don't deserve this. Now, confidence, on the other hand, comes from achievement, right? You literally have to do things to become more confident in doing things. And the messed up part about this is if you keep getting into bad relationships, your cycle of confidence will start to lower more and more and more because your track record, that's really what confidence is, your track record. Your track record is I keep getting with men that disrespect me. I keep getting with men that belittle me. But the problem is the reason why you even allow those people to do that to you, the reason why you even allow your confidence to be lowered so much is because you don't have self-worth. Because when they talk to you like that the first time, when they treat you that way the first time, you don't leave. And so over time, that belittles your confidence. But I want you also to understand that just because you want to have confidence when it comes to relationships does not mean you only have to have confidence in relationships, if that makes any sense. And maybe relationships are something right now that you're like, I keep getting into these cycles and it's just not working for me. But you do want to build up your confidence. You can in other areas. When people have bodies that look nice and they go outside, they have a sense of confidence because it's like, yeah, I worked hard for this and I went to the gym, I ate healthy, I did all these things. When people get degrees, there's a certain level of confidence that they have when they speak because they feel like they know what they're talking about. So I would recommend to help build your confidence up when it comes to these men, get confidence in other areas to help balance it out because there probably is something in you that feels like you aren't confident in anything. If you haven't achieved anything in a very long time, if you haven't done anything in any other area to boost up your confidence, then of course it's going to be so easy for a man to literally tear it down because that's what people can do because your confidence is your track record. And if you keep having a bad track record in every area in your life, of course it is going to be easy for a man to break it down because it's like, what else do you have left? And so I want you to understand the difference between self-worth and confidence. Self-worth is something that's intrinsic. You feel like just because I'm here, I deserve to be spoken to a certain way. I deserve to be treated a certain way. But your confidence, you are going to have to get that through achievement. So I would say start looking into things that you can start literally achieving to boost up your confidence. Now, going off the self worth and the confidence, I also want you to understand since you are gaining the self worth, aspect of it is knowing what you deserve from relationships as far as what step you guys are in. You said you guys are in a situationship for 2 years, and I want you to tell you that is a telltale sign that that individual does not truly want to be with you and that individual does not truly respect you. And so I want to talk about the 3 steps in my opinion of relationships. First is the talking phase. This is the phase when we are just texting, we're just on the phone, we are communicating. In my opinion, I mean, I'm 25 years old. I don't think that should last more than 2 to 3 weeks. After 2 to 3 weeks, if a guy does not want to see me, then he's not serious about me. We are not in middle school. We have cars, we have places. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, we are adults. Why do you not want to see me? The next step going into it is the dating phase. A lot of people mess this up, in my opinion, so much in this generation because I feel like there's this thing of like, oh, well, we're dating, where we're in a committed relationship. No, you are supposed to literally go out on dates with people and see if you like them or not. And another thing too, you can date multiple people. Just because you are dating someone does not mean that you are intimate with that person. The whole process of dating is supposed to be to get to know people. You are not supposed to wait until you are in a solidified relationship to start dating people. You need to go outside with people. This whole idea of just chilling with people and just no, 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 because you don't. It's so easy for somebody to put on a fake show. It is so easy for somebody to put on this fake idea when y'all just in a car or y'all just in a house. See how they interact with other people. See how they interact outside. And if somebody does not want to date you unless you guys are in a relationship, then that means they probably weren't going to take you serious anyway. In my opinion, that's childish. If there's this thing of like, oh, we have to be in a relationship, do I even know if I want to be in a relationship with you? Do I even know if I like you like that if I've never been outside with you before? And then after you guys have been dating for a few months, right? You guys can have conversations on, do you guys want to be mutually exclusive, or if you guys want to date multiple people, that's to each his own. But then that is when you get into a relationship. And maybe I'm a little bit old school, but I'm still an advocate of asking me if I want to be in a relationship. I'm not one of those people that all of a sudden you just start calling me your girl. Cause I feel like a man knows what he wants. At the end of the day, a man knows what he wants, and if he wants you, he's gonna let you know he wants you. Just like he posted that girl because he wanted to be with her, because he's with her, it's the same exact way. Do not have your brain assuming things like, I think we're kind of together. I think I'm a big advocate of, I don't want to think. I don't want to think, I want to know. Like, it's so easy to think the wrong thing and assume the wrong thing. We're not doing that. If you want to be in a relationship with me, you want to be exclusive with me, let that be known. But personally, I feel like those are the three steps. First, you're talking, then you are dating, and then you are in a committed relationship. And like I said before, the timelines do differ, but I definitely would not be dating someone for 2 years. I personally wouldn't even date someone more than 6 months. It's like after 6 months, you don't even know if you want to be with me or not. You must not want to be with me. Now, the next one is mutual experiences and understandings. This one is so imperative because I feel like once you grow up, you have to acknowledge the fact just because you find someone to be attractive, just because you find someone to be cute, does not mean that you guys will work good together. And I also think it's important to have more than just physical intimacy. You need to have emotional intimacy, in my opinion, to have a long lasting relationship. And I think a lot of girls get into this cycle of being with guys that truly aren't for them, or being with guys that aren't compatible with them, and then it ending badly, is because you never built that intimacy emotionally, and you really are just dating this person for their looks. So I'm going to explain to you how to essentially not date someone just for their looks, and how to find out if you guys are actually compatible. So, first, I want you to understand mutual experiences do not always correlate to mutual understanding. Meaning, two people can experience the same exact thing and they can have two different interpretations and two different understandings from it. And so, I'm not saying that you guys have to be exactly the same person and think exactly the same way, but I think there should be similar understanding of things, and I think there should be respective understanding of things, in a sense of, hey, that person said that and I didn't even think about that. But you know what? That does make sense. Because, in my opinion, what often happens is you guys don't have that like intimacy as far as emotionally, and then they act a certain way and they do something. And you're like, why would you do that? Why would you say that? Why would you act that way? And it's like, because you guys have two different understandings of life, and you didn't even know that because you never even looked into it. So here are a few things I recommend to do just to try to figure out if you guys have similar understandings of how the world works, and also to help build a sense of emotional intimacy between you guys to make the bond a bit stronger. So one of the first things I would recommend is like a date idea. Movies and also TV shows if you guys want to watch them together, but definitely movies are great. Some people try to down movie dates and they're like, oh, we're not talking, and like, how are we supposed to get like a real date and get to know each other? Movie dates are actually very underrated in my opinion, because after the movie you can get an understanding of things such as, what is the person's values, what are the person triggers, kind of how does the person think, just to see if you guys are compatible. So if you watch a movie together, ask that person, dang, did you, well, obviously, did you like that movie is common, but you can say things such as, yeah, did you think he was right when he did this, that? Did you think it was right when he said this? What would you have done? Not trying to make it weird, but like in conversation with the movie, because sometimes people could say stuff and he'd be like, if that was me, I would have so and so and so and so, and if that was me, and you'd be like, that literally makes no sense. That literally, did we watch the same movie? And you start picking up, wait, maybe we not that damn compatible as I thought. Another one you can see is after conflict with friends and strangers. This can show you the person's accountability. This can show you how the person deals with conflict. So maybe you guys are seeing strangers on the street, and instead of saying like, that's crazy, dang, what would you have done? Or there's always social media conflicts going on. Sometimes just asking people their opinions on those kind of things. Sometimes in friend groups, they can be like, oh yeah, so and so this, and my coworkers did this, and my coworkers did that. Just asking them situations on, oh well, who you thought was right, or what would you have done, or just to get an understanding of how they also deal with conflict, because conflict is inevitable in any relationship. And I think that's one of the things that gets people, because you guys have two different communication styles. You guys have two different perspectives when it comes to life. And so when you guys are good, it's good. But when you guys are bad, it's horrible. But you would have known that if you would have knew how that person, or had a better understanding of how that person looks at, conflict, and how that person understands it. Because there's some people that can say something to you and you're just like, you took no accountability, or like you don't think that person was accountable, or you don't think this, or you don't think that. And then when you guys get into a conflict, you just see it come out in your relationship. Another one is after a disappointing or challenging moment in their life. This is one that I recommend asking questions such as like, well, is there any takeaway you could have gotten from this, or anything you feel like you could have done differently? This often shows you, do they have a growth mindset or do they have a blaming mindset? This goes back to, will they take accountability? There are sometimes people would do stuff and get themselves into situations and it's like all they're doing is blaming other people. Oh, this person did this or this person did that. And I promise you, as an adult, those are some of the most scariest people to be around, the people that take no accountability. But if after bad situations you're afraid to talk to them, or you're just trying to soothe them, like, no, really get to know them and ask yourself mentally, do we have the same understanding, the same perspective, or similar perspectives on what life is? And is this not just something I made up in my head? And of course, there are a few more, but I think those are three major ones I would recommend, just to figure out that person's level of self awareness, just to figure out accountability, just different things, really to understand, do we have a mutual understanding of life? I feel like so many relationships do not go well because you guys don't have that emotional intimacy. There's so many incompatible things between you guys that you do not acknowledge, because that person is cute, because that person looks nice, because that person has a nice car. And also, what this will allow you to do is not create a fantasy of that man that you want in your life that he actually isn't. It's so easy for us to create a fantasy of, he's like this, then he's like that. And in the real world, he's not like that. In the real world, he doesn't act like this, he doesn't talk like this. But you've created that for yourself essentially because that's what you wanted. And so when he shows you even a little bit of that, you're like, yeah, see, he's like this, see, he's like that. When the whole time he really not like that. But if you pay attention to these things, you will start to see, are we even compatible? Because it's so easy to get into relationships and situationships with people you're not even compatible with. And before I leave, I want you to understand, when every piece of you has been focused on being enough for someone, healing feels like losing the job you've been training for your entire life. But the truth is, love isn't a performance, and your worth is not something you fight for. It's something that you remember. You don't heal by getting someone else to choose you. You heal by finally choosing the parts of you that you always thought were never enough. Now, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope whoever sent the email, I was really able to help you. I do understand that life just be life, and sometimes we need advice and sometimes we just need help. If you like this video and if you want your questions answered, go below. I have an answer box where I answer questions anonymously. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much.